Hey there, everybody. I'm Jay. Welcome to my booth. I missed last Thursday because I was swamped recording an audiobook, but we've got a sample here from Jinsoo, and it's lovely. Jinsoo says that he's new to VoiceOver. If he is, I look forward to great things because it's a great starting demo, I think, in general. But I'll break down some things that we can adjust as we go. Let's just dive right in. I'll stop and start between ads here just to talk about any potential improvements.
There's never been a better time to get an RMAX than right now during the Yamaha Get Out and Ride sales event.
Okay, so that first spot, I'm a fan. I like the energy of it. Obviously, you're, I think, doing a really good job with the tone of it. Things that I would suggest, the name of the company and the name of the product are the most important things in any commercial. That doesn't mean that you have to really smash them. You don't have to really gussy them up. You don't have to dress them to the nines. They just have to be the star of the show. And in this one, the star of the show is Get Out and Ride for me. And so I would talk about the RX a little bit more and Yamaha Get Out and Ride sales event. So let's listen to it one more time and I'll get more specific.
There's never been a better time to get an RMAX than right now during the Yamaha Get Out and Ride sales event.
So during the Yamaha Get Out and Ride sales event, the Get Out and Ride sales event to me is one solid thing. And I think I'm not saying that you should lose the energy behind the Get Out and Ride sales event, but connect them, because right now it's Yamaha Get Out and Ride sales event. And if it's Yamaha Get Out and Ride sales event, I would just be interested to hear it. I'm getting a little bit directorial. And then I think it's an R Max that I'm hearing.
To get an RMAX?
RMAX? To get an RMAX, we really want to be sure that RMAX is clear. And unfortunately, in this instance, I think the music is hindering you a little bit because there's a swell in like the guitar picking going on that coincides directly with the product name.
There's never been a better time to get an RMAX.
To get an RMAX. And that just muddies it a little bit for me personally. And so ways to improve. On this one, I love the energy that you're delivering it with. I think the tonality is great for this spot, this type of spot. But just give center stage to the product name and the company name, RMAX and Yamaha, and then connect the sales event name, the Yamaha Get Out and Ride sales event. It's all one thing. And then maybe just tweaking the music a smidge so that it isn't, conflicting with the other stuff. But all in all, I think that's a great start.
This is not just 1 hour delivery. This is not just medicine. This is fast relief for those who can't take a timeout.
Okay. Love the shifting of gears from the RMAX Get Out and Ride sales event to this kind of, I don't know, that somber came to mind, but that's not quite right. This sentimental-ish ad, and I like it. I also think that you're performing it really nicely. I like that you're taking the time, letting it be slower. You're not having to deliver things in a quick way. I think that there may be a balance between it where you could flow a bit more. I say this a fair amount with sorry, I didn't realize that was going to sound. With demos like this, I say often that without the visuals, long pauses are kind of just blank negative space within demos. That's a personal thing. A small technical deal on this spot, your S's are pretty sharp and you're hitting them, you're holding the S's a lot. So this is snot. And so there are a couple things that you could do. A, You could just not hold the S's as long, or, well, I would recommend that probably in general. But adding a de-esser here, I don't know what software you're using to make this ad or record your voiceovers, but adding a de-esser, so this is the S's with no de-esser.
This is not just 1 hour delivery.
So they're pretty sharp and relatively harsh. And then if I turn on this de-esser and we'll click it, watch this red bar here and you can see how much it's reducing those S's by.
This is not just 1 hour delivery.
So this is set a little bit too aggressively because A, it's going over the music and your voiceover, but in your initial voiceover recordings, if you're hitting S's this frequently, this ad is kind of special in that way that it has a lot of S's. You could use a de-esser just to tame them a smidge. But I think all in all, the ideal thing would be to not hit the S's because right now the read is, this is not a, and you could just say, this is not a thing here. What is it?
Just 1 hour.
This is not just 1 hour delivery. Because in that, the main feature is it's not just a 1 hour delivery. It's not just this. But all in all, I think your performance of this is really, really nice. And just with a few small, subtle tweaks, both in that technical realm, and I think it'll really soar after that. Let's go to the next one.
Looking for a deal? Well, Domino's Perfect Combo is a big deal for a not so big price.
I love how it goes from, again, the shifting of gears. I'm a huge fan of that in my demos and in demos that I listen to. And going from this sort of, you go to a very bright register or a really bright sound. And I love it, particularly for this domino spot. We go from, this is just like, we're here to help you. This medicine, it's not just for these things. It's for all of these things, whatever you want to say. And then we go to Domino's, where we get to eat pizza. And it's a really great shift. And I don't really have too many notes for this Domino's one. Let me listen to it one more time.
Looking for a deal? Well, Domino's Perfect Combo is a big deal for a not so big price.
The only thing I would say, I think your performance of that is really, really great. You can hear your smile. You can hear yourself being bright. This feels very much your wheelhouse. The only thing that I will say, just technically speaking, I can hear the music jockeying up and down. Maybe you used sidechain compression. Maybe you manually dipped the volume on the music. But I can hear that happening quite a lot. And I would just turn that down, whatever you did. Make the music more consistent in its loudness levels, I guess. But otherwise, I love you for Domino's. Let's go on.
How can IoT or Internet of Things improve our lives? The Internet of Things has a wide-ranging impact on human life and work.
This one, too, I think is very much your wheelhouse. I immediately was like, yeah, this guy would fit a lot of different, like, corporate technical stuff. I don't know what it is about your voice that I'm just like, yeah, this technical voice.
Can IoT or Internet of Things improve our lives? The Internet of Things has a wide-ranging impact on human life and work.
I do still hear, and it's interesting because in the Domino's spot, I heard that jockeying of volume, that like sidechain compression-y effect with the music. In this one, I'm hearing a lot of volume modulation or gain modulation, whatever, with your voiceover at times, which could be that you just have gate settings in an odd way or something like that. I'm not sure. It's a little difficult to pinpoint here. But aside from that, I really like the corporate world, I think, would suit you. Tech world would suit you really, really nicely. My only idea for this one to maybe slightly improve it is make it a more dramatic A and then B, because we start off with this question.
How can IoT or Internet of Things improve our lives?
How can it do this thing? Well, this thing. So you could more sincerely ask the question if you wanted to. I don't dislike the way you did it by any stretch. I, in fact, quite like it. And it fits very well with corporate style stuff where it's all kind of like level one note. However, if you wanted to show more range, dynamism in your performance, you could make it more, how does this thing do this great deal? What is this Internet of Things? It does all this stuff. And just make that difference, question, answer, more pronounced. And that may give you some traction on something. Let's go to the last one.
Before you buy your next car, run a car history report from bumper.com.
Before we listen to, we'll start again, but this is that volume thing, but it's very pronounced and easier to hear just so you can pinpoint it.
Run a car history report from...
It's like run a car history report, where run a car history, it's like something's, the gating system is doing something funky there. Just so you could pinpoint it, let's listen to the ad and listen for performance stuff.
Before you buy your next car, run a car history report from bumper.com. Or you could be losing a ton of money. Scan the VIN or type it in to see what you could find out. Try a bumper.com history report right now.
So I really like the style of this with the, I don't know, Tim Burton-esque music, the like, the sort of whimsical thing. I love that music with this spot. The one thing that I would say with this, I like your performance of it a fair amount. There are sections where I think you can connect the thoughts. You can connect the thoughts more. So, for example, this one.
Run a car history report from bumper.com.
Run a car history report from bumper.com. You can connect that. Run a car history report from bumper.com. You could even go as far as to say, connect all of this first part.
Before you buy your next car, run a car history report from bumper.com.
I don't mind this first pause, but you could stand to connect it. So right now it's before you buy your next car, run a car history report from bumper.com. But if you connect it, run a car history report. Before you buy your next car, run a car history report from bumper.com. And in terms of connecting it, this is maybe another important point. You don't necessarily need to, I'm not necessarily saying take out the pauses, as long as the thought maintains its connection. So I can still connect it if I say, before you buy your next car, run a car history report from bumper.com. But the thought is still connected. Right now, it doesn't sound as... For some reason, to me, it doesn't sound as connected as it could be. I'll leave it at that, and let's listen to the next little bit.
Or you could be losing a ton of money. Scan the VIN or type.
There's another one. Or you could be losing a ton of money. Or you could be losing a ton of money. It's a very subtle difference, but generally this last spot, I like the read. I like the style of it. I would just aim to connect the thoughts a little bit more and flow through them. Anyway, great work, Jinsoo. I look forward to hearing more about where you're going, because I think you're off to a really solid start. For the rest of you, if you'd like me to review audio of yours and give you feedback just like this, there's a form in the description of the video. Fill it out, send me something. You just got to be subscribed here, and just be patient with me. It takes me a while to get to them. And then there's coaching on my website if you want to jump the line and work one-on-one more concertedly. And then just until the next one of these, hey y'all, be well, and I'll see you there. Toodles.